Hey there, Tim Jones here, and welcome to another edition of View from the Bleachers. Now, not to brag, but I consider myself a foremost expert on computers, technology, and cybersecurity, even if both my technophile daughters might laugh hysterically at that assessment. But, compared to my cats, I'm a veritable Einstein. I'm not going to lie, my cats are all idiots, especially Monster. Now, this week's commentary is about the cloud. Now, big tech tells us that we should all be saving all of our important documents to the cloud. It's efficient, they say. It's cheap, they say. But I say, do not be fooled. Saving all your stuff to the cloud could lead to disaster. And I know a thing or two about making disastrously bad decisions. Heck, I went to law school and got an MBA. And now I'm a humor writer. See what I mean? More on the other side. Welcome back. Now, as an expert, over the years, countless people have turned to me for advice on a variety of topics. However, if I'm being honest, rarely on issues involving computers, technology, or cybersecurity. Mostly it's about things like, taste this milk. Does it taste sour to you? And related expiration date questions. Admittedly, I was not one of the early tech adapters. I still have my complete collection of 8-track tapes. I can't figure out why I don't have any friends on my MySpace page, and I still use texting in complete sentences and proper punctuation, but in my defense, that's mainly something I do to annoy my kids. Now, where was I going with this? To be honest, I have no idea what my point was. Oh, right. I'm not always on the cutting edge of the latest technology trends, but there comes a point when I feel I need to issue a clarion call of caution. I'm talking about the trend towards storing all of our valuable stuff in the cloud. Google, Microsoft, and just about every cellular carrier will tell you to store everything in the cloud. It's so convenient, they keep telling us. For example, if you lose your phone, don't worry. All your photos, contacts, and even your calendar will be safely backed up in the cloud. If you ask me, however, storing your stuff in the cloud doesn't always work. I have tons of stuff that I'd love to store there because, well, my garage is running out of space. Take my old clothes from my college days. My wife insists that I give them away, complaining that all they do is just take up closet space. But I just can't part with my old outfits. Who knows when my old purple corduroy bell-bottom pants will come back in style, and then I'll lose 40 pounds that I gained since the last time I wore them in 1975. I still think they look cool. I've learned that the cloud won't accept any of my stuff, not even my old big mouth Billy Bass singing fish that I regifted to my wife for Christmas in 1989. She would not speak to me for 3 days after that mistake. Now, it turns out that the only stuff that you can actually store in the cloud is digital stuff, like Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, photos, music, like my priceless collection of the very best of Engelbert Humperdinck. Well, what can I say? It's an acquired taste. Every day, millions of people upload important files to the cloud, but how can they be sure their files will be safe? Think about it. Do you even know what's in the cloud? Well, I'll tell you. Water vapor. Specifically, tiny water droplets that form on tiny particles like dust that are just floating in the air. Hell, your average cloud isn't strong enough to hold a floppy disk, let alone 100 million terabyte files. They'll all just fall right through and eventually land back on the planet Earth, leaving a horrible environmental catastrophe. And who's going to clean up all that corrupted files? Not me, fella. Not me. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that the cloud could somehow support all these gazillion files. The security is virtually non-existent. There are no heavy metal doors with 10-digit security codes or thumbprint recognition features required to gain access to your vault. In fact, there are no vaults of any kind. I recently took a Delta flight to New York. The chicken parmesan dinner tasted like cardboard, but that's probably a topic for a future video. Our flight flew right through the clouds for almost an hour. I never saw a single layer of security in any of those cloud formations that we passed by, not even the really puffy cumulus ones. And clouds are often wet. especially when it rains. Think about the damage that could be inflicted on your priceless photos of your daughter's middle school play. You know, the one where she performed the starring role of the third pine tree from the right. What would happen if they got exposed to the cloud's moisture? And even worse, what if the region where your files are stored in the cloud goes through a long dry spell, say 5 days without any rain and no clouds for miles? Well, if the clouds evaporate, there go all your documents. Hope you won't miss that hilarious video of your brother's wife falling into the wedding cake that you posted to the cloud now that the cloud is suddenly gone. Poof.
This is God talking. How in the world you ever got your own YouTube channel is a mystery even I can't solve. Listen closely. I don't think you understand how the cloud works. When they talk about the cloud, they're not talking literally about clouds in the sky, you dumbass. They're referring to cloud computing. In this context, the cloud is simply the internet. More specifically, all the things that you can access remotely over the internet. So when something is in the cloud, it just means it's stored on internet servers instead of your computer's hard drive, you idiot. And stop eating so much junk food and drinking all that Mountain Dew. You're not 14 years old anymore. And those Doritos are going to kill you someday. God out.
Wow. Sorry about that, God. Thanks for steering me straight. Oh well. Forget I ever even mentioned the cloud. That was a lame topic anyway. What I really wanted to discuss is the Second Amendment. Now, what is all this recent brouhaha about anyway? In a careful reading of the Second Amendment to the Constitution, I cannot think of any logical reason why the Founding Fathers felt that it was important to enshrine the right to arm bears. I mean, seriously, for God's sake, they don't even have opposable thumbs. Bears are dangerous enough as it is without granting them unfettered access to assault weapons and without proper training on how to use a firearm. God only knows what kind of havoc a crotchety grizzly with a bad temper could wreak. But you know what? If I bring this issue up, I usually get this deer in the headlights reaction. People look at me like I'm crazy. Let's see who has the last laugh when they get mowed down in a hail of bullets from a pissed off black bear toting an AR-15.
Tim, you're even dumber than you look. It's not a right to arm bears. It's a right to bear arms. It was written to give states the right to form militias in case of a rebellion. You know what? Forget about it. I have more important things to focus on than to keep correcting your misinformation. There's a flood about to happen over in the Middle East that I need to stop before it gets out of control. God out.
Well, that was embarrassing. I was going to bring up one more topic, specifically, what did Elton John mean when he sang the lyrics, "Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza"? Did he have a thing with Tony? And why did Creedence Clearwater Revival song sing, "There's a bathroom on the right"? Did he really need to pee that badly? Well, I'm sorry, but I can see that I'm out of time. That's the view from the bleachers. Perhaps I'm off base. Yeah.